Put a 1 in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. If you can hear some of my voice, put a 1 in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat. Mic check, 1, 2. Okay. Okay. Oh, yeah. All right. Happy Friday, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Friday. Hey, you know the saying, how the saying goes? I'm not going to be here if I don't have something for you. What's going on, everybody? Happy Friday, happy Friday, happy Friday. Hot off the press, ladies and gentlemen. We're not going to waste your time. We got things to do. It's Friday. You know, it's Friday night. Just got paid. But before we go out and party and blow the bread, we want to give you the update. It just came off the press, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Woo. First of all, before I even do all that, you know, I don't listen, sir. I don't want you looking. I don't want to look at you right now, sir. I don't really want to look at you. I'm gonna have to get you up out of here. You're distracting me, sir. We're gonna talk about you, but I don't need you looking at me. I really don't. And you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. We talking about that man right there. We're gonna have to get you up out of here, sir. You don't have to go home, but you're gonna have to get up off this page. You gotta get off. Oh, you don't want to leave, huh? You don't want to leave? You don't want to leave. He doesn't want to leave. We're gonna get him out of here. I know. You wonder why is he still there? He's still there because he don't want to leave. What's happening, everybody? Happy Friday. Happy Friday. First of all, before I start, I want to shout out to those who are joining in. Shout out to Miss C60. Before I shout out Miss, I know, listen, you've been a member for 7 months. I want you to continue being a member, but I want to shout out to B Lenore. I saw you in the building, B. I saw you, B. As soon as you listen. You know, I tell you guys, I'm not even jumping on here unless I got something for you. And within the last 14 minutes, it could have been around 15 minutes, Mr. Will Wootoon responded to Earnest Nesto Williams' motion. And boy, he gets pretty colorful in this motion. He gets pretty colorful. He said, no. We not, you want to suppress this? No. You're not suppressed. No. We want the judge to decide whether or not this is going to be suppressed. And we want your frivolous motion to be dismissed. So Mr. Wootoon, working overtime on a Friday, because most people are probably trying to get to Miami somewhere in Florida, or some people don't want to go back to Florida, but you know what I'm talking about. Hey, no, I'm sorry. Listen, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna bring the document right now. We're not even gonna waste your time. We got things to do. And with that said, in the hearing on December 18th, there was an argument regarding suppression of evidence. And that was covered by myself, Wisdom Daughter, Pammy Pam. Shout out to Pammy Pam. Pammy Pam, I don't know where yet, but I know you're somewhere around. But there was a lot of talk about the detective on Natalie. That was Detective Natalie. What is Detective Natalie's name? Detective Natalie. I'm just going to Sandy Springs Detective Natalie. She actually testified briefly in the case regarding evidence that was recovered from the vehicle, but there was things that I was surprised. I saw something. Anyway. I'm gonna read. I'm not going to tell you what's in the evidence. I'm going to tell you. We're going to read it. We're just going to bring it up right now. I'm bringing the document up. Let's go. Okay, so here, ladies and gentlemen, this is the state's motion to dismiss defendant's motion to suppress vehicle search for lack of standing. Lack of standing. What is he talking about? Are they saying Mr. Williams doesn't have the standing to file that in this particular case? Well, let's read the document. We're going to do it. We're going to read, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm not reading the comments. I don't care what you say, unless someone calls me on the phone and says, "Hey, Mr. Byron, we need to talk to you." That's not happening because I'm putting on do not disturb. Don't interrupt me with this because this is good. This is juicy. This is so juicy. Anyway, let me turn to do not disturb because I know somebody will try to call me. Anyway, comes now the state of Georgia by and through the undersigned counsel and moves this honorable court to dismiss the defendant's motion to suppress vehicle search on grounds that the defendant lacks standing to challenge the search in question. The defendant filed his motion to suppress on September 30th, 2024. And the state filed a response on October 25th, 2024. A partial hearing was held on December 18th. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before I go any further, I had not read this. We reading this in real time. So that did occur on December 18th, as I said. And the court heard testimony from Roswell Police Department Detective Natalie Fields and the argument from counsel related to whether the seizure of a Ford F-350 vehicle was lawful under the Fourth Amendment. At the conclusion of the testimony and argument, the court directed the parties to file supplemental briefings related to what, if any, of the state's evidence would constitute fruits of the poisonous tree. And obviously, anything that was taken that was not legally obtained under the Fourth Amendment, it is fruits of the poisonous tree. So everything is poison. Everything is poison. If it was done illegally, that's the poisonous tree, the fruit of the poisonous tree. You know, like that apple that you ain't supposed to be. Anyway, we'll talk about that in a minute. If the court ultimately ruled that the seizure of the Ford 350 was unlawful, the state requested that the court also allow it to file a supplemental briefing on the issue of whether the seizure of the Ford F-350 vehicle, and we're going through pages, ladies and gentlemen, we're going through pages, was lawful, in addition to supplemental briefing onto the fruit of the poisonous tree issue. And the court permitted the state to do so. Accordingly, the state now files this motion to dismiss the defendant's motion to suppress vehicle search for lack of standing. So here's the introduction, ladies and gentlemen. So we remembered from that hearing that there were a list of things that was seized from the vehicle. And we also heard Mr. Wootoon say to the court and to the defense that had they reached out to them ahead of time, maybe they could have resolved some of the issues that was as it relates to some of the evidence. Provide us a list of the things that you think should not be a part of this particular case, and we can talk about it. That didn't happen, and I know why that didn't happen, because, and it's my belief, this is my belief, this is not from the defense. They did not want to tip their hat to the prosecution on how they were going to approach the evidence, whatever evidence was in the car. So we're going to talk about the evidence in the car. 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on. Stand by. We got to do one thing here real quickly. Here. Stand by. Sorry, someone interrupted me. So let's look at the introduction. The Fourth Amendment guarantees that the right of the people to be secure in their person, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizure shall not be violated, and that's the U.S. Constitution Amendment, the Fourth Amendment. Emphasis added. Since the ratification of the Constitution, courts across the nation have worked to define and refine the scope and meaning of unreasonable sieges and search and seizures, and under what circumstances the Fourth Amendment protections apply. So we remember, those who have studied constitutional law, that search, the 1973 Miranda versus Arizona, is a case I remember very distinctly. I want to say it's a 1973 case. You guys can Google. I'm just going off the memory. But since that case, that particular case, there's been ratifications to the statute. Stand by, guys. I have some noise in the background. Stand by. All right, guys. So stand by. So here we go. Okay, where did I leave off? I'm sorry, I got slightly distracted. Hold on a second, guys. Stand by. Stand by. Okay, so I want to enlarge this document a little larger. I don't know what's going on. Let's see here. We can bring it a little larger. I'm gonna bring it as large as I can. Hold on 1 second. So, guys, I had some background noise that was kind of distracting. My system is picking up all kind of sound. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but here we go. So, I'm trying to bring this up a little larger so we can see this. I know you guys can see it, but for some reason it's not. Okay, let's go this right here. Okay. Be easy on me now, because I don't even have my proper bifocals to bring this up, and I'm getting. Hold on a second here. Hold on a second. 1 second here. 1 second. 1 second here. Okay, here we go. Oh, why is this not launching? Sorry, guys. Here we go. Let's see here. Guys, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. This give me 1 second here. Okay, yeah. Okay, we're back. Okay, put a 1 in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear the sound of my voice. Want to make sure you guys can hear me. Put a 1 in before I start it over again. Put a 1 in the chat. Okay, good. Okay, good. All right. Here we go. All right. Okay, so where would you leave? Okay, we're left with introduction. Why this thing's not getting enlarged? I don't know why this thing's not getting enlarged, ladies and gentlemen. Stand by here. I'm going to drop the link. I'm going to drop the link. It's not even taking my time. I'm trying to because I changed computers. I'm trying to enlarge in this. So I'm going to drop the link for V. How about that? I'm going to drop the link. Hold on, stand by. I'm gonna drop the link. Okay, we dropping the link. All right. We're dropping the link right there. Drop the link again. Perhaps you can see it better than I can. My guys, you know that this doesn't happen on the norm, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Okay. I think I just seen V come up in there. Is that V? There she go. V.
Dennis.
Yes. Can you see the document?
Yes, but I have a question first.
Well, let's just read the document. I don't want it, and we can go with the questions afterwards. And I'll tell you why.
No, just one quick question. Just a quick one, please. Just one quick question.
Go ahead.
Who the hell is over there distracting you?
Oh no. Listen, let's pay attention to the show. That's more distraction. It's no one to listen. Just let's pay attention to the show.
If you're gonna pay attention, I'll pay attention.
I'll pay attention.
Okay, thank you very much.
We had introduction. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna go off screen because I had to pull another pair of glasses.
Oh Lord. Okay.
Yeah, just read it. Can you get on camera?
Oh no, I can't read it.
You can't see that?
No. I mean, it's there, but I can't really read it.
Okay.
It's really small. I'm looking through my phone onto StreamYard.
Okay, so I brought you up and you couldn't even read it. Hold on a second here.
Well, is that what you brought me up here to do? Read for you?
Yeah, I didn't bring you up here to.
I thought you brought me up here because you were distracted and you needed somebody to hold the
No, I didn't need that.
Okay. You really did need that. Whole chat thought you needed it. So
no, listen, I'm serious.
You did need it, but if you just need me to read, that's gonna be tough.
Okay, hold on a second then. Hold on a second here. We're gonna do it like this then. I tell you what. You can still hear the sound of my voice. So this is what we're gonna do.
Yes.
Do this. Hold
on. Okay.
Hold on. Here we go. Okay, so we're going back to the introduction.
Okay.
Okay, so the Fourth Amendment guarantees that the right of the people to be secure in their person, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be
violated.
I don't know why I can't get the screen larger.
Now I'm making it bigger on mine, but
yeah, I was trying to get it larger.
I can try and read some of it. Let's see.
Yeah, just keep the show going and let me go to another computer.
Okay.
Go to another computer.
All right.
I'll grab my tablet. Stand by.
Okay. Since the ratification of the Constitution, courts across the nation have worked to define and redefine the scope of meaning of unreasonable searches and seizures and under what circumstances Fourth Amendment protections apply in the first place. Over time, several fundamental principles have emerged of particular relevance here. In order to claim protections guaranteed by the Fourth Amendment, a defendant must demonstrate first that he exhibited an actual subjective expectation of privacy in the thing or place searched, and second, hold on, y'all. And second, the expectation is one that society is prepared to recognize as reasonable. And that's Katz versus the U.S. 389 U.S. 347361 from 1967. Okay? Where a defendant cannot establish both a subjective expectation of privacy and legitimate objective expectation of privacy. His own Fourth Amendment rights are not infringed, and he has no standing to contest the legality of a search. See generally Rackus versus Illinois, 439 U.S. 128 of 1987. See also Brisbane versus State, 233 Georgia, 339 347 of 1974. Here, the defendant asks the court to recognize as objectively reasonable and legitimate a purported expectation of privacy in a Ford F-350 vehicle procured by him solely through a year-long fraudulent and bigamous marriage. All right. They done called him out. He's had a fraudulent, bigamous marriage. Okay. Courts in Georgia and elsewhere have soundly rejected Fourth Amendment claims in similar contexts, including those involving searches of stolen vehicles, searches of hotel rooms procured by fraud, searches of laptops purchased with stolen credit card information and that's all I got, y'all. I read that page. Okay. What do you all think? Ooh, I can't even see the chat. This is weird. Oh, hold on. Hold on. Okay. What y'all saying? Yes. Then they called out the wedding or the marriage, I should say, as fraudulent.
Okay, so you can see the second page. Hold on.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Okay. All right. So this is the second page. Storage units, rented using false identities, and even apartments rented under false identities and forged proof of income documents. In line with these decisions, and as set forth more fully below, the court should reject the defendant's Fourth Amendment claim and dismiss his motion because he has no standing to subject to the search of the Ford F-350. Now, here's relevant factual background. On July 7th, 2022, Roswell Police Department seized a Ford F-350 vehicle after placing the defendant under arrest on multiple outstanding warrants. Not multiple, okay? A search warrant was obtained to search the vehicle the following day, and the vehicle was subsequently searched. The search yielded multiple items, including a black book bag containing various documents, a laptop computer containing child SA material, cellular telephones, a USB drive, vehicle and storage unit keys, 2 black dildos, a black mask with zips, Lord, and liquid V. Okay? Says defendants, I don't know, deaths sub BR, I don't know what that means. Okay, at 4 to 5. It is undisputed that the Ford F-350 in question was not registered to the defendant, but instead was registered to Shirley Strawberry. Have you noticed how they didn't say his wife because he's not married to her? Okay, not then, not legally. All right. So it says, see defendant's motion. Oh, okay, I see what it is. See defendant's motion to suppress at 2, Officer Fields obtained search warrant, and then he gives that number of that warrant for a white Ford F-350 tag RUR 4559, and here's the VIN number. My God, today. Registered to Shirley Strawberry. The defendant asserts that Shirley Strawberry was his wife on that date of the seizure of the Ford F-350. But any purported marriage between the defendant and Miss Strawberry was bigamous and therefore void as a matter of law. In order to, hold on. In order to be able to contract marriage in Georgia, a person must have no living spouse. Go ahead.
So what this basically saying is you can't use your wife to try to get this warrants, this evidence suppressed because you weren't legally married to her. You're a bigamist. You got no stand.
You were committing a whole offense right then and there.
Right there.
Right there.
Isn't that funny that his lawyer knows that on December 18th, there was Shirley Strawberry divorced him. And the reason why she divorced him was because she really wasn't married to him.
Right. It was just a technical thing she had to go through, but she legally was not married to that man and didn't know it.
So why didn't they think that was just so basic? Like if you're using the Fifth Amendment of your wife, don't have to testify against you, then why would that even be an argument? I don't know.
Because he's thinking they can slip through it. They're just trying their hand at something. That's what I believe.
Yeah, but they caught that real quick. Okay, so you got one more line. I'll take it from there after you finish that. Okay.
Hold on.
So Ms. Strawberry was bigamous and therefore void as a matter of law. In order to be able to contract marriage in Georgia, a person must have no living
spouse. You're right.
Right. No living spouse. Right. Of a previous marriage. OCGA section 1932A3, marriages of persons unable to contract shall be void.
Where is that? You didn't change the page.
Did I? I did change the page. I did. Didn't I? I did.
I'm still seeing the same page. So
no, I'm reading off my tablet. I'm on my tablet, so I'm not reading what you're reading. I'm reading off a tablet.
Yeah. So this page it's not showing what you're reading, just so you know.
It's not. Okay. So let's see if we can bring that over there and move it to the next page, to 4. You see that? Can you see it now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so what do we have here? Okay, so I'm going to start at that line. Of a previous marriage, OCGA section 1932A3, marriages of persons unable to contract shall be void. OCGA Section 1935A. As such, a previous undissolved marriage renders void and attempt second marriage, and they cite another case law. So basically, he's still married, but he's not married to Shirley Strawberry.
Right.
And I don't. Do you know what's the situation with the other wife? Has she come out to speak about anything?
He was married 5 times, I believe. So the first wife is the one he got divorced from, I want to say in 2021. There are other wives in between Shirley and that wife.
So
multiple.
So did the last wife come to the forefront and say, I am his wife. I'm the real wife. Will the real wife step forward? Did that even happen?
The last wife before Shirley, I believe, was Carol. And she's the one who reached out to Bougie and said she didn't even want to be discussed. But I mean, obviously she knows she didn't divorce the man. So I don't really understand why all of these wives who did not get legally divorced sit back knowing he's supposedly married to Shirley Strawberry. They had to know that.
At some point, right? You would think that because she's on the radio and I mean, did they just go? Why do you think they went along with it?
That's what I want to know. I can't figure that part out.
Because it's not like they're a situation where neither one were on social media and you would have to know, you had to be in the know, but she's on the radio and he pretty.
Well, yeah, they knew who she was. Okay, B. Williams said Carol is divorced. So Carol's divorced. Edith is divorced. Oh, Edith says they're still married. Who was the one that he got divorced from? The one after Edith? Who was that? The Althea or whatever her name was? Was it her?
I can't keep up with these all the wives.
Wait a minute. Somebody said wasn't one of the wives at the wedding. My God, today it probably was Dion's. Was Dion's mama married to him?
Well, he divorced
Martha.
Now we need to see some of these divorce decrees.
Okay, he's still married to. Somebody said he's still married to Edith, but Martha is the one who he got divorced from in 2021 or something like that. Yes, Martha divorced him.
Okay.
And Martha is what, the second wife then? But my point is this. There are other people that got married in between time that have to question why. I mean, we have to question them. Why would they just sit there and watch him be married to this woman? They knew he was, look, I'm not saying everyone knows Shirley Strawberry, but you hear through the grapevine who your ex is with. Come on now. And so if nothing else, that was the talk of the town probably, that he was married to this semi-celebrity,
Right.
So I'm sure people discussed it, so they had to know. The fact that they sat there and did nothing, I guess they just, I don't know, were they afraid of him too? He has kids that say that they're afraid of him. So are the wives afraid of him?
Who knows? Who knows? We'll see. In any event, the prosecutor is saying that, hey, you have no standing to make this motion. You have no standing. You weren't married to her. The contents of the vehicle is fair game. Everything in the vehicle is fair game. And I thought they were going to argue that because the vehicle was parked and he wasn't in the car, that they didn't have probable cause to search the vehicle. Not that the car belonged to the wife, because she really is not his wife. So that's like, okay.
Right. They didn't know that at the time, though. They didn't know that man was a bigamist. I think it wasn't until Chronicle Speaks broke that story, it got back to the prosecution. Maybe not right away, obviously, or maybe it was there, but I think it wasn't until Chronicle Speaks did that story.
So social media played an integral, and Wootoon said, let's just say that the prosecution thanked social media for assisting them in making this case. They according to sources, they were elated that social media was so giving. So giving. Okay, here we go. Here, the defendant remained in at least one previous undissolved marriage at the time of his attempted marriage to Shirley Strawberry.
Yep.
Attempted
Bingo.
marriage, yeah, right.
Mhm.
Rendering that attempted marriage void, Latin term ab initio, on October 22nd, 1985. The
Mhm.
defendant married Edith Miller in Aiken County, South Carolina. Oh my goodness. Exhibit B. So it's exhibit here. Aiken
Mhm.
County marriage certificate number. Blah, 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 blah. There
Mhm.
appears to be no record that the marriage to Miss Miller was ever dissolved. On September
Mhm.
1st, 2001,
Mhm.
the defendant married Martha Halliburton in
Mhm.
Cobb County, Georgia. And that there's an exhibit to that as well. On December 16th, 2014, while Miss Miller and Miss Halliburton were still living, and while at least one of their marriages to the defendant remained undissolved, the defendant fraudulently
Mhm.
swore to and filed a marriage license application with the Fulton County Probate Court, falsely stating under oath that each of his three prior marriages had been dissolved by divorce and that he was not subject to any legal impediment or other reason he should not be married. And it's Exhibit D, Fulton County marriage license application number, and we're not going to go through that. Uh, Indictment at 22. The defendant then subsequently attempted to fraudulently marry Shirley Strawberry on January 9th, 2015, in violation of OCGA Section 1932A3 and 1935A, Georgia's civil statutes rendering bigamous marriages void and in violation of OCGA Section 16620A, Georgia's criminal statute making it a felony offense to enter into a. Can you mute yourself? Um,
Oh, me? I'm
yeah,
sorry. Okay, hold on.
enter into a bigamous marriage. And they have the enter into a bigamous marriage. See Exhibit E, Fulton County Marriage Certificate 2015. We won't go through the numbers there. Indictment at 22 years later. 22 years later, on December 29th, 2021, the defendant's marriage to Miss Halliburton was dissolved by divorce, and they have the final decree in Cobb County Superior Court. On April 17th, 2024, Miss Strawberry filed to dissolve her marriage. Okay, so we know about that one with
Yeah.
defendant
Dennis,
by.
can you move the page? Change the page?
Okay, sure. Sorry. Okay, where we at? Okay. What was the last word? I'm sorry, you threw me off there. Okay, I had to go back to the other screen. Let's see. On April 17th, 2024, Miss Strawberry filed to dissolve her marriage with the defendant by. They had to divorce. See Exhibit G, complaint for divorce and other relief, Fulton County Superior Court. And they have the case there. The defendant's marriage to Miss Strawberry was dissolved on September 30th, 2024. So I didn't know it was dissolved already. Final judgment decree of divorce, Fulton County Superior Court, and they have the case number. Notably, the divorce decree pointed out that the defendant and Miss Strawberry had no joint marital assets subject to equitable division, and noted that the defendant did not file an answer or otherwise respond to Ms. Strawberry's complaint for the divorce. Why is that important? They didn't have any marital assets. Why do you think that's important? In the whole scheme of things, D.
I don't know. Other than to say that's why it was resolved so quickly,
Um,
because it was done very fast. Even though he missed, there were a couple of continuances. Really was done pretty quickly.
okay. The court ordered that Ms. Strawberry shall be entitled to exclusive ownership of any personal property title in her name or in her possession. So, okay, here we go. Ms. Strawberry was also awarded sole exclusive use and possession of the vehicle currently in her possession. Okay, so they're saying that these assets, that vehicle belonged to her, right?
Yeah,
The
the truck was in her name.
right.
Oh, but
Okay.
so are they saying that she didn't know he had it in her name?
No, they're not saying that, but I guess the award would be
Oh, did she give us permission to search it?
right. Further, let's see. Further, the state expects Ms. Strawberry would testify that that the defendant purchased the Ford F-350 and registered it in her name without her knowledge or consent. So he didn't even. So he didn't use. So how did he get it in her name without her knowing? But wasn't she? Did she ever ride around the vehicle? Did she get an opportunity to see the
Look,
registration?
I'm sure that she rode around in that vehicle, but look, this is a whole crook. If he knows her social security number, he may have even applied for this whole thing online using her information. And then if he's got Erica by his side,
She could have
they're
been Strawberry.
yeah, plus they're stealing shit from other people. They tried to steal a house from a man. So you
Mm,
don't think that they know how to falsify the documentation
mm.
and get the things that acquire the things they want to acquire? I think so.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they find where there's a will, there's a way, and they figured a way. Without her knowledge or consent, the Ford 350 F-350 was purchased using Miss Strawberry's funds. Miss Strawberry's continues to make payments on the Ford 350 despite not having known at the time of the purchase that it was purchased and registered in her name. Miss Strawberry was unaware that the defendant was still married to Miss Miller
Hmm.
or Miss Halliburton at the time of the wedding ceremony on January 9th, 2015. Miss Strawberry would not have married the defendant had she known he was still married to Miss Miller or Miss Halliburton, and the Ford F-350 would not have been purchased and registered, nor would she have been paying on that car. In Miss Strawberry's name without her knowledge or consent, using her funds had she known the right. That's it. The defendant was still married to Miss Miller or Miss Halliburton at the time of their marriage, their wedding ceremony. So he scammed her too, basically. He scammed her too. So she's paying on.
Absolutely. He scammed her in many ways, but the first scam was just getting in her atmosphere, making her his woman. That was the first scam. And then, marrying this woman, that's the scam. He knew that getting close to Shirley was going to get him closer to a bunch of other successful black folks, celebrities, and maybe even Steve, who knows. But she was definitely a pawn he used. She was definitely scammed. But
So
I
why?
think after a while she knew some scamming was happening. That's
So
all I have to say.
so all he had to do is get a divorce from the either Miller or Halliburton, and went and married her. Well, he left that out there. He jumped. He rushed to get married to her for whatever reason. We know the reason, uh, but he could have just got the divorce and then went that way, or he maybe never had intention on having her as his wife, and maybe he never had intention on having her as his wife, and like just to run his scams. Who knows? I mean, if you want the woman to be your wife, you I don't know.
I
Anyway,
don't understand why he did a lot of things he did when it came to this legal stuff. Like, you would think it would be simple enough, just get a divorce. Obviously he didn't have any real property with any of these women. So dissolving a marriage should have been fairly quick for any of those marriages. And
Well,
it sounds like they wouldn't have fought him for one. So why not just get the divorce? I don't know. I don't know if he was just lazy,
like
cheap.
sloppy. He's sloppy. That's sloppy. That's sloppy work.
Yeah.
And why didn't Bible lady just ask him? So what? Why didn't you just get a divorce? You spent all that time visiting him. You asked that question. Why didn't you just divorce the person?
Bible lady just wants to be next to him. Okay? That's it. Because he represents some form of celebrity to her.
Mm-mm.
That she buddies up to people who she thinks are celebrities, or celebrity adjacent, or hood celebrity. That's what she's into.
So here's the deal. Sonia's not a mistress. She's not a mistress then. If Shirley wasn't married to him, would she still be considered a mistress or just a girlfriend?
She's a mistress to some motherfucker because he's married to somebody.
Right, but not too sure. Okay.
Sonia is still a
She's
hoe
still
who's sleeping with married men.
okay. I tried to throw an alley oop here, but it didn't work. Accordingly, the defendant's use of the Ford F-350 on July 7th, 2022 was procured solely through knowing and intentional fraud committed by him vis-a-vis his bigamous marriage to Shirley Strawberry, and his purchase and registration of the Ford F-350 in Miss Strawberry's name, using her funds without her knowledge or consent. In light of that ongoing fraud, and as set forth more fully below, the defendant had no legitimate expectation of privacy in the vehicle, and as a result, no standing to challenge the validity of the search of it. And the judge is going, I guarantee the judge is going to dismiss this based on that. He had no standing. He wasn't married to her. No standing. Yeah, that's, it's pretty, I can't see how he can even argue that unless he thought he could say, well, I thought I was divorced. No, that's not
He
going
can't say that. He said that all along. Those women, unless he forged some sort of documentation and had forged documentation sent to his ex-wives, everybody knew they were still married. That's what's weird to me. Everybody had to know, unless he falsified some documents and made those women think they weren't divorced.
Mhm.
Everybody knew that they were married. Sylvia said that the women should have made sure that they were divorced, and he has said he thought he was divorced. All of that's either
Now,
look.
why are we playing why, first of all, did they know that he wanted to get a divorce? So why are we blaming them? Did
What?
they?
Plus, he ain't living with him. He's moved
Right.
on with his life.
Right. Now you know that a lot of you women that you're separated from your husband. No one wants to pay for the divorce, and they just, ride it out. I never been married, but I know there's a lot of women out there that, allow when they're separated, they don't even fix the situation or make it a major priority. They let that thing just sit out there. They don't. There's no
Look, I
rush.
didn't know that happened back in the day. I don't understand why it's happening now. Like, these women know they need divorce. They knew he was divorced. I mean, he was marrying somebody else. That's
But
my
we don't.
thing.
Do we? Okay, I'm saying we don't really. One lived in South Carolina, the other one lived, in like you really don't know.
Man, I
You really
live
don't
in
know.
Ohio, you live in Georgia, and we all know of Steve Harvey.
Mhm.
And we know of Shirley. Even if we don't know Shirley Strawberry, we know that she's his sidekick. You're not going to tell me that these folks that come on now. If you don't think I'm going to know that my ex-husband is getting married or dating a woman who is on the radio and sits next to Steve Harvey?
Mm.
I'm going to hear about that, even if I'm not in the same state as he is in. You don't think people talk, and that wouldn't be a big thing that would come up, especially when dealing with a crook. So
Mm.
when you know it's crooked, and they're up to foolishness, and you may not want to get involved with it, and you may not even talk to this man, but you don't think the word got back? Hell, some of these women had kids with him, didn't they? You don't think the kids told him?
Mm. Yeah, that's just crazy. It's just crazy. Okay, we're going to argument.
Turn the
Here's the
page. Turn the page.
yeah, I did. It's on
Oh, okay.
argument.
Okay.
Okay, so argument. The Fourth Amendment to the United States Constitution guarantees that the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated. U.S. Constitution, Fourth Amendment. Fourth Amendment rights are personal rights that may not be asserted vigorously, and they cite the case law, and a defendant challenging a search or seizure or unreasonable or a seizure as unreasonable must establish standing. Okay, he hasn't established that. A priority interest in or legitimate expectation of privacy regarding the place, search, or evidence seized. And they have another case here. As such, to prevail on a claim that law enforcement conducted a unconstitutional search under the Fourth Amendment, a defendant must first establish that he had a legitimate expectation of privacy in the place, search, or evidence seized that society is prepared to recognize as reasonable. So yeah, Steve is another case here. We don't need to read that case right now. Standing to challenge searches require a subjective expectation of privacy that society would recognize as legitimate. And subjectivity would be that he married Sherry Story. That was his wife. Further, it is the defendant who bears the burden of establishing both a subjective and or objective expectation of privacy. So, and then we have the case. I would love to pull the case up, but that's another stream. Finally, whether society is willing to recognize an expectation of privacy as legitimate is a question of law. United States v. McKinnon, and it has the case, and we're gonna go to the next page here. Okay, yeah, I'm scrolling here for you guys here. Georgia courts have routinely rejected the proposition that society is prepared to recognize any legitimate expectation of privacy in property that is stolen or procured by fraud. In the Bergeson, here's another case. In Bergeson, a defendant was convicted of murdering a victim and stealing the victim's vehicle, 267 GA at 102 to 103. Sometimes after the murder, the police located the defendant and her cohorts driving the victim's vehicle, initiated a traffic stop, and conducted a warrantless search of the vehicle. And here's another case law. The Supreme Court of Georgia affirmed the trial court's denial of the defendant's motion to suppress the search of the vehicle, holding that the defendant had no standing to assert a violation of her Fourth Amendment rights because she had no proprietary interest in the vehicle or legitimate expectation of privacy regarding the vehicle or its contents. Right, because the car was stolen. So it was, so here in this case, they stole the car, but they wanted to fall under the Fourth Amendment right of search and seizure, but they didn't have a proprietary interest in the vehicle. It wasn't their car. So when Shirley Strawberry said, "Hey, this guy committed fraud. I didn't know the guy was still married. I wouldn't have spent this money on this car." he didn't have a proprietary interest in the vehicle, and she didn't. She was defrauded. So they kind of showing the correlation between the two, his situation and this Bergeson case. So because she had no proprietary interest in the vehicle or legitimate expectation of privacy regarding the vehicle or its contents, the court observed as one knowingly using a stolen vehicle on a public roadway, probably was in a constant expectation of intrusion by the authorities. So they ran. I'm guessing they ran the plate. They said this car is on the hot sheet. Pull the car over. They didn't need a warrant to search the car because it was on the hot sheet. This is you don't need a warrant for that. You need warrants for cars that if it's not on the hot sheet, then why are you searching my car? They pull you over. Can you get out? We would like to look into your car. You don't give permission to someone to look in your car legally unless you feel like I didn't do anything wrong. But I probably would never want someone just to go ahead and search my car unless, I don't know, even if you say I got nothing to hide, but then you get the cops the opportunity to plant something in your car. So I say bring a sergeant here, make sure your body camera's on, then you can search my car. Other than that, yeah, I don't know. You want to take the next one? V? Okay, did we lose? Okay, we lost V. Okay, in Brisbane, the Supreme Court of Georgia again held that a defendant has no standing to challenge the search of a stolen vehicle, relying on language from an Emory University School of Law Journal article observing that one in unlawful possession of a stolen vehicle should be in no better position to assert a claim of invasion of his privacy with respect to the search of the vehicle than would be a trespasser on real property. Right. Because if you trespass on my property and I see you on my property and I put one in the lake, it's because you're trespassing. The court followed the same logic in Sanborn v. State 251, Georgia 169. In the Bergeson and Brisbane, the court held that a defendant challenge to the lawfulness of a vehicle search must fail because defendant and his companion could have no legitimate expectation of privacy in a stolen car. Right. So I guess what they're saying, and I'm gonna go to the comments real quick here. One second. V, are you there? Okay, I guess V. Oh, I lost V. Okay. Okay, here we go. Okay. Oh, yeah, Shirley's definitely been working with the people. I mean, she got defrauded by the guy. What do you think? She's not going? You think she's not going to work with the people? She's working with the people. And she got to clear her name. Even though she got this divorce, there's some people that think maybe she knew something. You think that there may be some people out there that think that she might have known something. That this guy's, the way the guy was moving. I don't know. What do you guys think? Okay, someone said V needs a link. Hold on 1 second here. All right. Let me drop the link again. Let me drop the link here for her. Okay. I'm going to put that there. I just dropped the link. I'll pin it there too. I mean, can you guys fault Shirley for cooperating with the prosecution at this point? Can you fault her?
Hey,
Hey, I'm calling
um,
you. I said, where did he go?
I hit the wrong button and then I was like, oh well.
So,
Go
so
ahead.
can you fault Shirley Strawberry for cooperating with the prosecution?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I don't fault her at all for that. I do think though that while he may have pulled the wool over her eyes and she may have been scammed
I don't know. I don't know. Did we lose you? Okay.
hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now.
Okay, sorry about that. I was saying that I believe that um while I believe that she may have been a victim of some sort, I also believe that after a while, like I think that she was a victim. I think he pulled the wool over her eyes. I think he lured her in with his own motives to do dirt either on her or with her or whatever, or around her. But I do believe at some point she realized that this guy was doing some shady stuff. She had to know it. She couldn't have been with this man 10 years and not recognize that he doesn't have a job or any sort of businesses that are generating money. And my check is being drained constantly and we're constantly having to move. There's just too many red flags for her to have not known something wasn't right about him. And I will never forget that call when he said to her, if I got to go through this to make sure you're okay, I'm willing to do that. Now that just suggests to me they know something. I don't know.
Hmm. Interesting. I didn't listen to all the calls like that. Well, there wasn't a lot of calls between her and him on from phone calls from prison, right? There weren't a lot of calls, were there?
Huh? Say it again.
Were there a lot of calls between those two, Shirley and Nesto?
There
Like
were
from
a good amount, but of course not as much as there was with he and Sonia. Even when he was with his wife, or his wife thought she was with him, or whatever the case was, while they were claiming each other, he didn't talk to Shirley every day. And even when he would talk to Shirley, I don't recall them really having a whole lot of conversations lasting 30 minutes. But he would hang up with Shirley and call Sonia. And he and Sonia would talk multiple times a day. So there were some calls with them, but there was a call in particular that I just recall him saying that to her.
mm,
And other people heard that call.
mm-hmm. Okay, so where we at? We are on let's see, I'll finish reading since you're here. Okay, Georgia courts have not limited this logic to stolen vehicles, but have also extended it to other circumstances where a place search was procured by a defendant by fraud. So basically, they're saying he has no standing because this guy has committed fraud, and in the car that he bought using her money, that was done by fraud because she wouldn't have did it if she wasn't married. She didn't believe that that was part of their marital assets. She was doing this because she believed it was part of their marital assets. And obviously he didn't get the memo that he still had another wife out there. Okay, here we go.
He had the memo. We got the memo late. He always knew what he was doing.
So for 10 years, for 10
Yes.
years he couldn't clean, but he could have, that 10 years, he could have went down to the court and said, listen, let's just get a divorce. Probably
Yeah.
he didn't want
And
to
he
do
was
that.
married to multiple women at that time. He and that wife Edith, or was it Edith? Whoever, oh, Martha. Martha's the one who got the divorce with him, right? That was like 2021. I want to say they had been married since what, 15?
Mm.
So he'd been married to her for several years, and now we know that he's still married to at least one other woman. I just think,
Mm.
and they say Martha was at the. Isn't that what they said? Martha was at the wedding. So.
You know, I know who wasn't at the wedding. You or I wasn't at that wedding. Because you sure would have caught that bouquet.
Okay. Oh Lord, have mercy.
Ow! And I would have caught the garter. Was it? It's garter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I caught one in my time. By the way, I caught one.
Did it work?
I threw it back.
See, that's why you had no good luck. Okay.
Oh my goodness! I didn't know. I thought it was hot potato. Throw it to someone else. Okay, so okay, where we at here? Let's see here. Okay, where did we leave off here? Okay, the court acknowledged that while registered guests of a hotel room can have a reasonable expectation of privacy in their room, one who obtains a room by fraud can have no reasonable expectation of privacy in the room. And I saw a video, this may have been a couple of years ago, where they had used a stolen credit card to book the room. And once they found out the card was stolen, they sent the security and the police up to the room, and they went inside the room. They didn't have a search warrant. They went in the room.
Yep,
And,
exactly.
You know, and when the couple came back to the hotel in the lobby, the cops detained them, and then they tried to verify the card, and come to find out the card was stolen, and they didn't need a search warrant.
Was that the young black couple? Is that what you're talking about? Yeah,
yes.
That was a couple of years ago.
Yes, you remember that case, right?
Yeah.
And I think that was what's that in Georgia? I think it was in Georgia.
I think it was in Atlanta.
Yeah. I remember that case. I'm like, oh, you idiots. And I think it was another, if I can recall, I think she had a baby too. She had a kid with her. Yeah, it was just this crazy story.
Well, that one couple, in all fairness, I thought that the couple was saying that they were scammed.
You're right. That's what happened. They said that that's the way they told the story, but they said that they were scammed, and the guy claimed he gave the money to someone. It was just
somebody gets points, or somebody
does
something to get rooms or something like that, and they had gotten the room through them. But here's the thing, it's kind of like a contract, right? If you get somebody to sign a contract or make some sort of deal or contract with you, but it's under, for instance, okay, let's do this. If I sell drugs to you,
I'm listening. I lost you. If you sell drugs.
Oh, I'm sorry. My phone is just locking up. I gotta fix that. No, what I was saying is, if I sell drugs and I sell them to you, but you don't pay me for them, I can't take you to court because that was an illegal transaction to begin with. So I have no legal standing to take you to court on that. So I feel like that's kind of like what they're saying here. You're saying that this was your car and we don't have a right to search it, but it really wasn't your car. And the car was purchased by fraudulent means. So you don't have a legal standing to even say that we didn't have a right to search this car.
And that's why the judge is probably going to grant the state's motion to dismiss the defense's claim of a legal search. You didn't have a standing. You had no standing in having this car, and you scammed your wife.
Exactly.
Shout out to only ME23.
Only me 23.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Only me 23. Gifted one. Okay, appreciate you.
Happy belated birthday, only me 23.
Happy belated. Let me go ahead and read it before I go further. Let me just T
Okay.
Rain. T Rain, what it do? Let me go ahead and hit T Rain up. Appreciate you, appreciate you, appreciate you. Okay, let's see who we got. We have Miss C 60. Appreciate you, appreciate you. And we have what we got there. Okay. Since it's in common, especially for we don't talk about that. And then we have thank you, we got there, B. Okay. Okay, we got go ahead, B said shout that one out here. Let's see that one. Okay. Appreciate you there, appreciate you. B, did I lose you? See, V sounds
Oops,
gone.
sorry. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Okay.
Okay. Would you say you wanted me to shout out somebody?
Yeah, I guess. Let's see we missed someone. Hold on. Just shout her out, B. Shout her out.
Who? Wait, hold on. Oh, Houston Foodie. He said
Hey,
both of them brought him the divorce papers. Yeah, that was the thing. I remember him. See, and that's why Sylvia was saying that these women should have, that basically, if you're going to take him to jail, you got to send them to jail too, because
no, that's
they
crazy.
should have known they were still married.
That's crazy talk. Now she's talking crazy. Why would you now you want to blame the victim? What is this
Yeah,
blaming the
always.
why are you blaming the victim? This is like her logic. Like she's always blaming the victims. Like, how are you blaming the victims? I mean, he's the one that said I do, and oh my god. I tell you.
Child, I told you, she always has loyalty to whomever is adjacent to the celebrity.
Mm. People ask me, "Are you going to cover a case?" Nah, I'm not going to cover a case. Nah, I'm not covering a case. I'm not. I'm not. I'm not covering the case. I know you want someone else will cover it, but I'm not covering it. No, just not. Not. That's not happening. So for those, I have bigger fish to fry than covering her case. So why is it that you never have your shit together? I do. Guess what? I have my shit together now, Diane. Blocking you behind. Get your ah.
Mm-mm.
ah. I said, why you never have your shit together? Get your ass off. They don't. They listen. Listen. I got time today. Where we at? We going. You can take the. Can you see numerous federal? Do you see that
Hold
line?
on. Did you accidentally somebody banned Queen Lily?
No, I did.
I think you might have by accident.
Oh shoot, no.
It says Queen Lily was banned and their comments were removed.
Oh no. How'd I get it back? Oh, Queen.
Um
Oh my God. I did that
I know
accident.
you can, well, here you can go into your studio and unblock her. Now I don't know how you unbanned her from StreamYard though.
No, oh my God. See? It started that you blocked the wrong person. Where the right person at? Raise your hand. Raise your hand so I can block you.
Who were you trying to block?
Oh man. I blocked the wrong person. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
She was timed out. Okay. Okay. Did well, I gotta send Queen Lee. Oh, I gotta send her a text, man. She's gonna be cussing me out. What the heck? If you can see me, I want to take care of that. I'm gonna blame V for that now. Blame V. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see here. She was timed out. No, was Queen Lily timed out or blocked?
It says blocked on my end, so I don't know. It says banned and their comments were removed. So
Oh
maybe
my
she
God.
wasn't blocked, but it says banned. If you hit the button from StreamYard, you did it.
No face, no case, ladies and gentlemen. I'll fix it. Okay. Do you see where we at on the document?
Hold on. No, where did we stop?
Okay, so we're on page 9.
Oh
Actually,
no, we see 7.
you're on page 8. We're on page 8. Let me move to okay, because I'm on tablet here. Here we go. So we open it up so you can see that. Okay, so we're on the second paragraph, numerous. We take from there, numerous.
Okay. Numerous federal cases are in accord. In United States versus Cayman, the defendant purchased a laptop computer using stolen credit card information, and it gives the case information. Police conducted a warrantless search of the laptop, which was found to contain images of boys who were around 10 or 12 years old exhibiting their privates for the camera. Hold on. The de- the defendant's challenge to the warrantless search of the laptop was flatly rejected because, as the district court found, Kamen obtained the laptop computer by fraud. He had no legitimate expectation of privacy in the contents of the hard drive. And there's case information there. In reaching the conclusion, its conclusion, the court noted, we see no grounds on which to distinguish property obtained by fraud from property that was stolen by robbery or trespass.
Mm-hmm.
In United States versus Johnson, the defendant directed his girlfriend to rent storage unit using a stolen identity. Case information is there.
Yeah,
Police
next,
conducted a warrantless search.
the next page there.
Okay. Of the storage unit and located 2 firearms, which the defendant was prohibited from possessing because of his status as a convicted felon. Um, the 10th Circuit, the 10th Circuit forcefully rejected the defendant's challenge of the warrantless search, finding that the defendant had no Fourth Amendment rights in a storage unit procured by fraud. Ultimately, what matters is not whether Johnson might have some legitimate property interest in the storage unit, but whether Johnson's interest is one that the Fourth Amendment is intended to protect. Arguments such as those Johnson's advances have had, here do not distract us from the fact that a fraud was perpetrated and that the victim was a third party. We will not be a party to this fraud by legitimizing Johnson's interest in the storage unit. Therefore, whatever subjective privacy expectations Johnson had in the storage unit were not expectations that society is prepared to recognize as objectively reasonable. Johnson, thus, did not have any Amendment rights in the unit and could not expect that the police were required to obtain a warrant or establish an exception to the requirement in order to search the unit.
So that's interesting because based on this particular case, just because you had a subjective interest, not objective, but subjective interest in the contents of that storage unit, the police don't have to recognize your subjective interest because objectively they have knowledge that you obtained that whatever by fraud. So
Exactly.
the Fourth Amendment is not going to protect you. Just because I believe something don't mean it has to be recognized.
Right.
In this case, it didn't have to be recognized. And in Nesto's case, he may believe he had a subjective interest, but his subjective interest was based on him defrauding Shirley Strawberry through bigamy, being a bigamist.
Exactly.
And they don't recognize being a bigamist. So your subjective belief is not the court's objective or the law's objective viewpoint on how they treat this. And that's why the judge is going to basically say, nobody, this is not going to fly here. And may slap you for trying them.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, I think they're going to win on this. I think you know, I can't see him getting around this. Only
Here's
way
my question though. At that time, I understand he had no. So actually, they are going to look up by technicality because if it wasn't for this fact, then Hoover would probably have won that argument. Then, yes,
that's a very but that's a very important point. If Hoover, if the marriage was legitimate at the time, he was apprehended by Detective Phils, then they would
hmm
have a leg to stand on. But they say this guy don't have any standing. He wasn't even married to her, so they doing all
yep,
this. And I didn't even think about why they didn't raise that on December 18th, because if they would have brought that out on December 18th,
right.
I mean they could have
Yeah,
brought
that's what I'm
that
saying.
December
Did they
18th.
not even recognize that they fucked up? Because honestly, that's really what happened. Officer Fields might have just screwed this whole case up had it not been for the fact that this Negro was
Right,
still married to somebody
right.
else.
Right, because she didn't know this guy was a bigamist at the time she stopped him.
Exactly.
Right, so that they got so she messed up. She could have
Yep.
messed up, but she really messed up. But she didn't know at
Yep.
the time that this guy was still married. So
Yep.
it was a good try, and I think
Yep.
that this saved the case. Him being married to the other wife saved the case for the prosecution.
Let me say this too. So ain't that I'm sorry, that ain't none of me. I don't she just put in here they mentioned little boys. That mention of little boys was a
Another case,
case
another case, right?
example. Yeah,
Right.
it wasn't this, but it was very similar. Go ahead.
And other similarity is the laptop in that case. And that
Yep.
laptop they talk about in that case it's not related to his case. But it was interesting they
Right.
pulled that out. Don't you think it's interesting
Yep.
they pulled that particular case? The reference was a laptop with like weird stuff on it, and
Yep.
knowing that he has a case out there already,
Yep.
they
Because
try
they know
to
they
really,
gotta address that too. Not only was that laptop found in that truck that was in Shirley's name, because he
Mhm,
kept saying, that's not even my truck. That's not even my truck. Uh that's my
mhm.
wife's truck. Because that was their argument for a while. I shouldn't say he was just saying it, but Sonya was saying that at some point. And I think
You saying that
he
too?
well, I think she repeats whatever he says. Sometimes I think she helps try to create scenarios for him. But
Mhm.
nevertheless, he was trying to say that, that was, that was not his truck. So how did they know? Why are they blaming him for stuff that's in the truck kind of thing if it's not
Oh
my
my God.
truck?
Right, right.
I heard that argument at some point. So
Mhm.
I feel like they really did screw that up. I think if it had not dropped while they had this man in jail, he was in jail before they realized he was married to multiple people.
Oh
He
yeah,
probably was in there a year
right. So I see your
before.
point. If for example, if they would have found they would have gave him a bond, he would have got out,
Yep, he would
and
have ran.
he would have ran, or would have got a divorce. Well, no, they would have. I don't know. That divorce would have eventually came out. I mean, that
I
divorce,
don't know. I don't know that he would have gotten a divorce. I don't know. I shouldn't say that. If he had gotten a bond, yeah, the news had been out already about Shirley. But yeah, I think I don't know. I feel like he wanted a bond so badly because he wanted to run because he knew they had him. They in his mind, he thought they had him. He knows he did these crimes and he also knew that he could not afford to go back to jail again because of the recidivism issue. So
and
I feel like
I gotta say allegedly, just because obviously he hasn't been convicted of these crimes. So just want to put that out there. We're saying these allegedly, and I know I know your position, but I have to say allegedly until if and when this case is adjudicated against him, but it's still alleged. Just gotta put that out there.
okay, go ahead. I'm just saying that this is my feeling of what he was
Right,
feeling.
right.
You
We
know
have
what I'm
theories.
saying?
These are theories. These are our
This
theories.
is yeah, this is my theory as to why I think he wanted a bond more than he wanted to prove innocence. He just wanted a bond. If you think about it, he talked about getting a bond far more often than he ever spoke of being innocent.
Right. That's
And
a
I
fact.
think he had a goal in trying to get out, no doubt
Right.
about it.
Right. Because
But I will say,
these other charges would have eventually dropped once they continue doing the investigation. I
you
mean,
think, well, maybe.
I
I
mean,
don't know if they would have. I think if Chronicle Speaks had not done that piece on that Edith lady, if Edith had not reached out to her, I think, I mean, I don't know why Edith decided to tell Chronicle Speaks and didn't contact the DA, but that's what it seems like she did. And I think with enough people watching Chronicle Speaks, somebody called the courthouse or
mm,
somebody
mm,
came across that video. Whoever is in charge of looking out here on the internet to see what the
mhm.
bloggers are saying now, somebody, either that person or somebody in one of these audiences reached out and they put that bug in their ear to check it out. But had that not happened, all of that stuff would have gone away. A good amount of evidence would have just gone away.
So we can honestly say the internet pretty much made this case, helped make this case against uh Williams,
A- Absolutely.
because they wouldn't have had, like, absent of the internet, that car stop would have been alleged to. That car stop, if it wasn't the internet, what would they really had on this guy?
Yeah. They would have had, see, I don't know, would they have had the SA charges? I guess maybe so. Did the SA charge come out immediately with all this other stuff? Or did that come out later?
Well,
I'm
didn't
legit asking. I
yeah,
don't know.
I don't know either. I think
But
but
the
that
bigamy, I saw that happen. So they definitely weren't charging him with that until all of that stuff
that
started.
came
He
out on the
started
internet.
talking about it.
Right,
Huh?
right. That came out from the internet, from the
Yep, that came out from the internet. Next thing you knew, he was slapped with it.
mhm,
Yep.
mhm,
But here's the thing. I wonder, remember when Shirley said to him, I don't know if you said you didn't hear a lot of the calls, but there was a call, she's driving or something, and he says, "Yeah, when we get out of here, we got to talk." She said, "Oh yeah. When you get out of there, yeah. We got a lot of talking to do." Like it sounded like she was discovering things, or
mhm.
that the police must have been saying things to her to suggest, like, hey, your husband did this, or, that kind of thing. And
Well,
maybe she wasn't trying to fall into it, but she recognized that they were onto something. They had information she didn't know. She was foolish. But I think she realized she had been foolish where this man was concerned. And my question would be, from what moment did she come to the realization that, oh, I've been getting scammed too,
mm,
or they may be able to tie me into some mess too. That is alleged. I'm not saying that's the case, but it feels odd to me that she didn't know anything was going on. So my question would be, at what point did she decide she was going to help the state, or she was going to sit back and not say anything for
I'm
a
only gonna.
while?
I would guess when she realized that she wasn't his wife.
I feel like it was before that, to be
You
honest.
think it's before that?
Yeah, I do.
I
I
think
feel
that
like,
she had to clean her name up. She was, she's on a popular radio show. I think
yeah.
she went into crisis management, find out what the heck is this guy doing, and then once she found out that this, he was married to someone else, I'm like, oh heck no, I'm a victim too.
Yeah, I think that could have been the nail in the coffin, that thing, possibly. I mean, I have to think about what was the time frame when old girl dropped that video on Edith. But I mean, if I don't know, I just feel like there's a point where Shirley was probably working with him. I mean, working with the prosecutors a little bit. Because let me ask you this. I understand that a wife does not have to testify against her husband and she can't be forced to testify. But
Yeah.
can't she if she volunteers to do so?
Absolutely, and she's that argument only stands if they both assert that, hey, Fifth Amendment, she's my wife, and self
Yeah.
incrimination, that falls on self incrimination. So yeah, but she can volunteer anything. I mean,
So
but and
that's what makes me think,
it's,
I believe she was probably going to cooperate with them.
Mhm.
But I'm wondering, at what point did she make that decision And how long was she able to sit there and act like nothing was wrong between she and him, knowing that plenty was wrong and knowing that she was going to walk away, or
We'll
knowing that
probably
she was
never
going to
know.
insist?
We'll
Huh?
probably never know whether or not she was going to cooperate as his wife against him. But we do know that the burden was it was a burden lifted off her shoulder once she found out that she wasn't his wife. So yeah, I'm telling everything. I'm
I
telling
bet
everything.
I bet she, if they go to trial, we're going to know when,
Eh,
because
I-
they'll have to.
oh
Yeah,
yeah,
because they're going to put her on the stand,
yeah,
and
yeah.
and when she's cross-examined, you can best believe they'll be trying to figure out, when did you decide you were going to be a part of, I
Mm.
believe it will come out.
Yeah, well, I think Ernest's curiosity want to know. That may not have any much relevance, but Ernest's curiosity will probably want to know, because unless she's unindicted co-conspirator, it really is not relevant. The relevant part is, when when did you know that this guy was not, what did you know of any of his scams? Did you have any
Yeah.
knowledge of any of his scams? Like, he hasn't come out and said, well, he kind of alluded to, like, that some of the stuff in the car wasn't his. So who are you saying it was? How often did she drive the vehicle? What do like, but the
Hmm.
prosecution's not even looking at that as a consideration, because they didn't charge her with anything. She's a victim. And let's just, let's be very clear. She is a victim in this. She's a victim just because he was married to someone else. That makes her a victim. She's been putting up money into, for 10 years, putting up money into the family and spending money like they were married, and they weren't even married. So yeah, I would think she would be the victim. I don't think I think
I think this year, so there's a lot that she has been victim to in this relationship. However, I still believe that, this is my opinion, in order to partner with someone for a decade, and you've watched them come in and out of jail at least 4 other times, why, you have to know he's doing some bull stuff. You got to know that. You are 70 years old right now. You were 60 something years old. You've lived a full life. You've dealt with a addict in your past. You've been in the church and in entertainment, and you mean to tell me that you don't realize that something is going on with this man who you live with? Y'all been evicted multiple times. He's been to jail multiple times, and you don't know that something weird is going on at
mm,
all. He has companies, and you never see any money come from it. You don't know something is going on at all. I'm
well,
not going for that. You're 10 years older than him. You've lived longer than he has. No. You may not know exactly what's going on, but you know something's not right. And maybe you didn't care enough because it was more important to have a piece of a man than no man at all.
are you? Well, I know you're not blaming the victim, but I would just say that
These niggas lacking.
that's all.
Yeah.
That's that's just a case of
These niggas lacking.
that's all. That's
Yeah.
all.
But that's both of them. Both of them niggas. Because she's got to take some accountability for some of this. There's no way around it. But, and because I say that, again, she may not have known what it is that he was doing, but she had to know there was something. So silence is consent. So you consented to some bullshit going down, Shirley. And maybe they were able to tie you into some things, because at some point you got to know something's going on, Shirley. And maybe it was a matter of, this is a theory. Maybe it was a matter of, look, you gonna help us, or you gonna be sitting right up in there with him, because
I
there's
do
no
think
way in
that
the world you didn't know something.
we know how Fulton County get down. We seen from the YSL trial how they pressed these witnesses to testify. They didn't have, they pressed people that were like victims themselves for the most part. But the way they were pressing these witnesses in the YSL case, they probably told, listen, hey, you look kind of guilty, but prove to us that you're not guilty. Prove to us that you had no knowledge of what he was doing. Prove to us that your hands are clean. So she's going to talk. She had more to lose than he did. So she's going to come clean, you know? And I agree with that girl. She said Shirley didn't really know Nesto at all.
She didn't. But
yeah.
after 10 years, you're together with this man for 10 years. You're 10 years older than him. You've lived longer. You've been through other bull crap, another bull crap relationship. You do relationship advice every day, and you want me to believe you didn't notice that something weird was going on with your husband. That's bullshit. That's just a lie.
Yeah. Maybe she didn't, maybe she just didn't care,
She
like.
didn't. So, and that's my point. So silence, turning the
Well,
other,
when I say,
and
let me
looking the
say
other way makes you culpable.
let me say this. I won't say she didn't care. She wasn't really into his business like that. She just knew he was bringing home the bacon.
He wasn't bringing home any bacon, and that was the alarm clock. Right, that's when the alarm should have gone off. That's the red flag. He never had any money. His businesses weren't generating any money. So if you're with somebody 10 years, he's got a storefront over here. He's got these fleet of cars over here. He's supposed to got these people working for him, but your life is not in any better of a state with him bringing all of, if he's got multiple businesses, where's the money?
Mm-hmm.
And why are y'all broke? And why are y'all, you got to stay with a friend on a blow up mattress.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. At that point, something. At that point, she should at least.
You've been evicted 5 times. He's been to jail 3 or 4. You mean to tell me she doesn't know anything is going on? Nothing. She even said in one of the calls, you're supposed to be checking your warrants. What?
Who said that, Shirley?
Shirley said that to him. You were supposed to be checking your warrants to see if you have any warrants out there. Who does that?
Yeah, somebody in criminal behavior.
So why would he need to check his warrants?
Let me go check. Let me check my credit report. Let me see if I get warrants today.
Exactly. That's basically what she said. And he can lie all the time, but a woman knows when her husband is lying. You can ignore the lie or you can call him on the lie. But you know he's lying. So I'm just not buying it, Shirley Boo Boo. You knew something was going on.
Okay, let you let you finish. Let you finish reading your part. Go ahead, read your part.
Okay, where am I? Okay. Other similar challenges to warrantless searches have been rejected where a hotel was searched without a warrant after the defendant obtained the hotel using a false name and a dead woman's credit card. That's United States versus, I can't see the name. The defendant could not have a reasonable expectation of privacy in room he obtained through misstatements, lies, fraud, and forgery, where a vehicle was searched without a warrant after the defendant provided a false social security number on loan documents for the vehicle and stopped making payments on the vehicle. See, that's what he was doing. He was buying these vehicles in Shirley's name and then never was paying on them. So they had those cars on borrowed time. Anyway,
Right.
Newman versus United States. And that's case information. Where an apartment was searched without a warrant after the defendant rented the apartment using the name of a deceased individual, provided a forged driver's license, my God, and provided a forged tax return to demonstrate his ability to pay rent. And that's United States versus Rigmaiden. And where a hotel room was searched without a warrant after the defendant and accomplices rented the room under a false name and using stolen credit card information. So move to page 10. Okay. And that's United States versus Wei King.
Yeah, you want me to take that page?
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, United States versus Wade Quing, 845 F sub 1548 case. That's case law. The defendants abandoned any legislative expectations of privacy the moment they attempted to perpetrate a fraud. Returning to Cat and its progeny, the question before the court is whether society is prepared to recognize as objectively reasonable and legitimate the defendant's purported expectation of privacy in a Ford F-350 that came into his possession only because of a year-long fraudulent and bigamous marriage to Miss Shirley Strawberry, and that he purchased and registered in her name using her funds without her knowledge or consent. As a starting point, it is axiomatic that the act of bigamy itself is one that modern society is not and never has been prepared to recognize as legitimate. Beginning as early as 1604, King James I asserted to an act of English Parliament creating the felony offense of bigamy. If any person or persons being married do at any time after marry any person or persons, the former husband or wife being alive, that then every such offense shall be a felony. Edward Coke, Institute of the Laws of the England, channel 27. Anyway, that's case law. 1969. Modern spelling used. Okay. Indeed, as the Supreme Court of the United States long ago observed, we think it may safely be said that there never has been a time in the state of the Union when polygamy has not been an offense against society, cognizable by the civil courts and punishable with more or less severity. Reynolds v. United States, in its case law there, and the Georgia Code follows suit. OCGA Section 1932A3, which we've seen that several times in this filing, and 1935A established that the bigamous marriage are void as a matter of law. And OCGA Section 16620 creates the felony offense of bigamy. See also in Georgia Code, that's another case law. Bigamous marriages void pursuant to the first codification of the Georgia law. And there's more case law there. Bigamy is a felony. Bigamy a felony pursuant to the first codification of Georgia law. Moving past historical precedent, the real world consequence of the defendant's fraudulent and bigamous marriage suffered by Miss Strawberry, and indeed the same, and we're going to go to the next page here. So we're on page 10 here. Okay, you guys can see that. Okay. Stand by, guys. Let's see. I'll make sure you guys can see that there. Okay, where are we at here?
Yeah, page 10 is up. That's good.
Okay, where we at here? You follow along?
Page 10.
Okay.
It's at the top, but that's okay. So returning to cats. I'm sorry. Returning to cat, and its in this progeny. The question before this court is whether society is prepared to recognize as objectively reasonable and legitimate the defendant's purported expectation of privacy in a Ford F-350 that came into his possession only because of a years-long fraudulent and bigamous marriage to Miss Strawberry, and that he purchased and registered in her name using her funds without her knowledge or consent. So he not only was married to her fraudulently, she didn't even know that he had taken all of her information and got that
Mhm.
car financed.
Right. Crazy. So we on
Um,
11. We on page 11. Consequences suffered.
I'm sorry. Oh, yeah. Okay. Potential legal consequences for Miss Strawberry and similarly situated victims are immeasurable. The federal government has previously identified a total of 1,138 federal statutory provisions classified to the United States Code in which marriage status is a factor in determining or receiving benefits, rights, and privileges. And that's the U.S. General Accounting Office, and there's case law information. These benefits, rights, and privileges under state and federal law include, among others, federal income tax benefits, state income tax benefits, family hospital visitation rights, next of kin status for emergency medical decisions, tax-free transfers of property between spouses, family violence protections, and various spousal privileges in court proceedings. Simply put, the defendant's fraud operated to deprive Miss Strawberry of potentially thousands of benefits, rights, and privileges tied to marital status under state and federal law. Moreover, he purchased the Ford F-350 using her funds and registered it in her name without her knowledge or consent, leaving her with the financial burden of an unwanted vehicle that she continues to pay for to the present day. The defendant fully knew he had procured the Ford F-350 by fraud, knew that his fraud might someday come to light and terminate his access to the vehicle, and should have been in constant expectation of intrusion by the authorities by driving such a vehicle procured by fraud on a public roadway. So go to page 12. As the Supreme Court of Georgia recognized in Brisbane, one in unlawful possession of a vehicle should be in no better position to assert a claim of invasion to his privacy with respect to the search of the vehicle than would be a trespasser on real property. In this case, the defendant abandoned any illegitimate expectation of privacy in the Ford F-350. The moment he attempted to perpetrate a fraud, it is immaterial whether that moment was when the defendant entered into a fraudulent or bigamous marriage with Miss Strawberry, when he procured the Ford F-350 using Miss Strawberry's funds on account of fraudulent and bigamous marriage, or when he registered the vehicle in Miss Strawberry's name without her knowledge or consent. The
You
entire
know,
transaction. Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. What we probably going to learn during this trial, and assuming she's going to testify, I think she's definitely going to testify.
Oh,
She's
for
going to give us
sure.
the details on what he did in
Yep.
obtaining her funds, because she's going to have to spell that out. Like, how did he get access to your funds? Did you share account? Did he have access to your account? At what point did you? They're going to ask a lot of probing questions to see whether or not she had knowledge, or she should have had knowledge that he was accessing her funds. So, so those are the details that will come out in trial. And, and we haven't heard anything about her making any claims that he's, specific claims of how he did it. But we'll learn that during trial.
Right. Yep.
Okay.
So the entire transaction from beginning to end was fraud, and this court should be a party to that. I'm sorry, should not be a party to that fraud by legitimizing the defendant's purported privacy interests in the Ford F-350. Conclusion. For the reasons set forth above, the court should dismiss the defendant's motion to suppress vehicle search on grounds that any subjective privacy expectations the defendant may have had in the Ford F-350 were not expectations that society is prepared to recognize as legitimate and objectively reasonable. As a result, the defendant lacks standing to challenge the search, respectfully submitted on this 24th day of January 2025, the one, the only, Fonnie T. Willis. Anybody can get it. Okay?
And Mr.
Oh,
John, you can woo, woo,
woo
woo,
woo.
Wootoon.
You can woo woo
Woo,
woo.
woo. You
You
can
can
woo,
woo
woo,
woo
woo,
woo.
woo. You can woo, woo, woo.
Ernest's ass is his. Yes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is today's date. It was filed at 5 something this evening, and yeah, they're gonna have a hard time getting any of that stuff suppressed. And they had to prove that it was fraudulent. Like the mere fact that I guess the marriage is a fraud. Was there any other frauds on top of that? Because at that point, anything that he did that was obviously under what she believes is a marriage was fraud. In my opinion, everything he did was like fraud. Hey, honey, I'm going to go buy this. Put this money in a trust account. Well, okay, honey, here's the 20,000 that Steve just gave me. Go ahead, put that. Okay. Well, no, you're not my husband. Give me my money back. I'm not even married to you.
Let me clarify something too that was said earlier. So, and I think this is so Integrity Matters said, I don't agree with that assessment. Nesto was a career criminal. Shirley wasn't, and naive. Knowing something was odd is not the same as knowing what he's doing. The schemes were his, not hers. So here's what I said earlier, and I knew that someone would, and I don't know if you're talking to Dennis maybe, but what I said very specifically was
Girl,
that
she's talking to you.
yeah, well, this is what I'm saying. She didn't hear what I said. I said very specifically that she may not have known what he was doing, but she knew he had businesses. She knew he had time on his hands, but she also knew there was no money coming into the house. She knew something was going on. She knew he was arrested multiple times. She knew that they were having to move multiple times. So it's one thing to think something's odd, but after 10 years of the same old, all of these things, you're 10 years older than this man. I bring up the fact that she worked in the entertainment business because nothing grows you up faster. There's no other industry that will grow you up faster than working in the entertainment history or industry. Now, I'm not saying she knew how to be a criminal. I'm not saying that at all, but she certainly knew something was going on that shouldn't be going on because it's not whatever he's got going on over there. It's not adding to anything in their household. They were when this happened, she's laying on a blow up mattress at her friend's house, and the husband's not even staying with her. She knows he's on some bull crap.
Well, the fact that if we to believe that she knew about his criminal past, she should have always been on high alert that
absolutely
he's moving in this, in the same manner he was moving into those other, because he has some serious. He had when you listen to his rap sheet being read in Judge Adams's hearing, he had a lot of stuff out there, like a lot. And you think 10 years with this guy, she wouldn't have did no background check,
and some of the stuff that he did in the past is what he was doing again. It's like come on now, you know a little bit about this. And here's the thing, let's say she was naive as all get out. You mean to tell me all of her friends were too? Everybody in her circle, her daughter, her friends, her relatives, nobody heard anything and no one questioned anything and no one said, "Hey, Shirley, girl, are your husband has done this kind of thing before. Shirley, why are y'all moving again? Shirley, like you don't think they're asking questions for 10 years too? I ain't going for it.
Listen. I agree, but hold on. I got an issue here. Yo, Joseph, we see you, Joseph. Joseph, I'm watching Joseph. I'm seeing Joseph, watching you, Joseph. I got eyes on you, Joseph.
No, that girl, no one's saying she's responsible for his crimes. But at some point, if you know, let me ask you this. There are girls right now out here dating drug dealers, right? And the drug dealers are going out here and they're doing whatever they're doing and they're making transactions and they, sometimes people get hurt physically in those transactions. Like you don't know what your man is doing and you didn't do any of it, but you might still know your man's a drug dealer. Doesn't make you responsible, but it does say that you consent to what he does because you're with him. And that's girls who just date these dudes. You're talking about a wife being married to an ex-con who did several years in prison. You know this. He's still getting arrested consistently. They're getting kicked out of places consistently. Make it make sense. You mean if you and he's got these businesses and no money's coming in and you don't have the wherewithal to ask the question, what the hell are you doing?
So she knew, but she didn't want to know. She didn't care. She just wanted to make sure, get this. Listen, we got a lot of stuff going on here. Get that money, man. Go ahead. Throw bricks at the penitentiary, and hopefully you don't get caught. That's what he was doing, throwing bricks at the penitentiary. And the brick obviously he got the attention of the penitentiary now.
Yeah, he got the attention. He going back home. He's lived in jails and prisons probably more than he's lived in any one place in his life. So that's what he knows. He can thrive in there because he's spending enough time in there.
Oh, they're not charging with anything. She's going to be the strongest witness, one of their strongest witnesses. So they got witness. She's not
just because they're not charging her doesn't mean they haven't already identified. Hey, baby, we see you've done this. How did you not know this? How did da? Even if she was a party to one of the things, doesn't mean they'll charge her if they want to use her as a witness.
Turning a blind eye. I agree. Turning a blind eye.
Yeah, silence is consent.
Listen, I said that. I'm telling my age because I heard that term, throwing bricks at the penitentiary, long time ago. But that's what he's doing. He's been throwing bricks at the penitentiary for a while. He's trying to get back in. If you throw a rock at someone and break their glass at their house, they're coming to chase you. They're going to come after you. So you keep throwing bricks at the penitentiary, and they're going to come for you. And that's what he's been doing, throwing bricks at the penitentiary.
I agree. Diddy's baby always said that girl, those were Nesto's crimes. She can still be charged. Do you know the number of women that are in jail because there's SOs were committing crimes, drug dealers specifically? Let me tell you, most women that are in prison or jail are there because of a man. Sometimes they take the fall for the man, or sometimes they're just a party to the man's crimes. But the high majority of women in jail and in prisons are there because some dude in their life. So yes, you damn right. They could have brought some things to her, and that's enough sometimes to say, yeah, okay, then I'll tell you everything you want to know.
I'll talk, boss. I'll tell you. I tell you where the body's hitting that.
Hell yeah. I don't think she knew how to do it. I just think that the woman knew something was happening. Something was happening. And she benefited from it from time to time.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. She benefited from it. And she had to ask questions. listen, like you said, she's been around for a while. She's not a stupid person, but I'm not, going, let's just say that she knew more she's willing to talk about. And this, again, she needs a career, like she's 70 years old. She ain't trying to, she has no criminal record.
Yep.
She's not trying to go down, his dog path. And, and she's just naive. There are a lot of naive women out there. Come on. Like,
She can be naive to a lot of things, but she's not a complete fool. She knew something was happening.
I'm not arguing on that note. I am not arguing with you on that because you listen. I know you're gonna be in the courtroom, and I know what you're gonna understand. I know you're going to look at her in the eye as she's testifying. You're probably gonna be
I'm
right
gonna tell y'all
there.
what else. You all are going to apologize to me as soon as you find out that Steve Harvey had spoken to those authorities earlier last year. I promise you, wait until you find that part out. And I want an apology.
Did you see the witness list? Did you see the witness list for this case? V? See, she done hit a mute button again. V done hit a mute button.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay, sorry. No, yeah, because remember when I was over here that day and everyone said, you can't say that Steve Harvey talked to them. And I told y'all then, I know for a fact he spoke to them. He had spoken to them. And the argument over here was, well, just because he's on the list doesn't mean everyone knows that they're there. You're right. Everyone who's on that list didn't know they were on that list, but Steve Harvey did know because Steve Harvey spoke with them. And what my argument was, even if I didn't know what I already knew, I still feel that when you're dealing with someone that with that type of status and those types of connections, there's always someone who will reach out to him beforehand and give him a heads up. But I know for a fact they spoke to him, and y'all will see that too. Okay? I'm just saying. Did you hit the mute button?
Did I hit the mute button?
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing, guys? How you doing? I am trying to get V up here, but she don't want to get on camera, but it's all good. I've been here. You probably was wondering what I was doing behind the scenes. But we'll see.
I can't wait.
The trial might not start to, I don't know. The judge had initially set a January trial date. He did that last year, but apparently,
it was supposed to be like the 9th of January or something. So I was thinking that 9th or 10th. I thought about that when I was gone. I was like, oh man, I wanted to be at the trial.
Now, V, I know you weren't thinking about no dawn trial when you was, dealing with your situation.
I was a little bit. What? I had nothing but time to think about everything.
So wait a minute. Let me set the stage. What were you thinking? Like, okay, and what?
Oh, there were many times I thought of Nesto when I was thinking about these GTL calls and when he was sausage for cereal trying to trade his food, and when it was med time. I was like, look, I thought of him a lot of times. I said, oh my gosh.
Goodness.
This is what Nesto was talking about. Oh, I heard Bougie, just as FYI. I was listening to Bougie yesterday, and she was looking at a visit. Either it was a phone call or a visit, and I guess he was on the phone with Sonia, and he said, "Hey, I see I got a visit scheduled. Is that you?" And Bougie's question was, "Well, if he knows he has a visit, doesn't he know who it's with?" And the answer to that question is no. He would not know who he's visiting with unless, I guess, every facility is different. They may tell you right before the visit happens that, hey, you got a visit, it's right now. Or 30 minutes ahead of time, it will show up on a screen and they'll say, V. Lenore has a visit, but it won't say who the visit is with. But it might tell you the time. So just so you know, I learned a lot of things that
Oh
will
my
help me
goodness.
with this case.
Girl, you're institutionalized now. No, I'm just kidding.
I was there doing grassroots research. I also am an investigative reporter. So that's what I was doing.
You were doing it. You were undercover.
I was undercover.
Well, hold
I
on.
was
Let me ask you.
49 days in.
Let me ask you a question. Did
Uh,
you tell anyone? Did you tell anyone while you was inside what you do, like as far as blogging on criminal cases? Did you
yes.
tell them that? You did?
Yes. Yes,
No.
absolutely. Yeah, because several of them I said, I'd love to have them on the show. Because I knew they
Okay.
had compelling stories, and whether or not I knew that they were innocent or not, I think when you start to hear what people, how they were raised, or what they've gone through, or just different adversity in their life, it can help you understand how they might find themselves in the position they were in. So, yes, absolutely. I didn't hide anything about that. No. Mm-mm.
Man, if I knew that, I wouldn't even try to talk you all, talk you down. Hey, don't talk. You tell them now. I say, I hope she don't tell. She's covering Nesto. Hey, that's my cousin. No, no.
Child. No, well, I did talk a little bit about the Nesto stuff, but none of them knew who the hell Shirley Strong. I mean, you got to understand, most of those women in there are super young. They are not listening to the Steve Harvey Morning Show. They
Mm.
don't give a damn about who old ass Shirley Strawberry is, and I don't mean it in a derogatory thing. I mean, I was an old lady in there, so the things that I'm paying attention to is not stuff that they're paying attention to. And now they wouldn't have known my name necessarily, my YouTube name, but yeah, I told them. And I thought it'd be kind of cool to have a couple of them on, but I doubt that really will happen. Maybe one or two might come on, but
What were you talking about me in there as well?
no, I wasn't. I wasn't. I didn't want people to know about you.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, look, I'm not in the sharing business. I keep trying to
Hey,
tell you
that's what I'm
that.
saying. I'm saying. I'm saying. They would tell
Uh
people
huh.
that.
Uh huh.
You
Wait, Diddy's baby oil. Oh, she's talking to somebody else. Who's she talking to? Praying favor. So where I live, the visitors have to be approved. Yes. Now this is what I was gonna say. The visitors have to be approved. No doubt about it. You have to schedule it, pay for it, approve it. However, that doesn't mean that the person that you're visiting knows anything about any of that. They still don't necessarily know who's coming. If Sonya didn't tell him, there's a good chance if Sonya didn't say, "Hey, I'm coming at 2 o'clock tomorrow," he's never gonna know it until 1:59 depending on the jail. At Orange County, when I've had I have two visits, I should say. My no three, and they were all with my attorney.
okay,
One was in
I'm about to
person.
say.
Yeah, one was in person. The other two were video um visits. But in all three of those, they told me 1 minute before it was happening. Literally.
Well, I wonder why. You see, even in TV shows, when the visit shows up, no one never knows who the visitor is. None of the people inside know who the visitor is. So, like, that's crazy. I wonder why they
Yeah.
don't just tell people.
I want to say Pen Pal 50 said pay for it, V. I didn't hear of anybody having to pay for it. No, I take that back. Yes, at one of the jails I definitely knew of somebody paying for the visit, but I think Sonya has to pay for those visits in advance when she goes to schedule them. There's a good chance
Why
she
you
has to
gotta
pay
pay for
for them.
it? Why?
I don't know. Look, let me tell you something. In Orange County, do you know they charge me $2.25 per day for being there? So you have to pay to be incarcerated by these people in Orange County. Now that's not the case in Ohio, but in Florida, you pay in order to stay. Ain't that crazy?
Yeah,
So if
see,
somebody
they had
puts
a
money on your books, what you owe is what they will deduct first from what your people put down. So like when I left, I owed like what? Probably about $60. Well, I didn't really owe that much because I had commissary at least one time in there. So they took some money out during my commissary. But yeah, people put money on your books, they're taking out what you owe them first. If they charge you $6 for the first day, and $2.25 for every day thereafter. So I don't know if Cobb County does that. Now that would be crazy. If Cobb County does that, that means Sonya is paying for his ass to stay there and money on his books and money on the phone calls. Because that's the other thing. Putting money on your books is not putting money on your phone and your tablet.
See, here's the problem. You, as a detainee, you have the presumption of innocence. So why are you charging people to be
stay.
there? When now, if you're convicted and you're in state prison, yeah, I understand that. But if you're a detainee, why are you charging people who obviously
They haven't even been adjudicated or
right?
of anything.
Yeah, just crazy.
Yeah.
They,
It's crazy anyway. I didn't sign up for this damn motel. I didn't ask to stay in this mother sucker.
Yeah,
why am I paying for it?
We want fresh towels. We want some condiments. We want it all.
Some hot water, maybe.
Hot water, clean, shower curtains.
A private shower. What the hell?
Private shower. Maybe a visit or two from me. I don't know. Well, you gotta ask for things.
It was crazy. So some of the stuff that I thought of Nesto often. I told one of the girls in there, I was like,
wait. You think about Nesto and not me? Like that's
yeah, because Nesto had finally found some commonality just for a split second. Okay.
I gotta start
before that, he was a foreign idea to me. Right. But then I began to understand my subject matter a little more. I got inside his head. But no, it was I thought about things I would hear him say. Like I didn't know, like he would say things to Sonya, she'd bring up things that are happening in the news or whatever. And he would say, well, I didn't know that. You see that. I don't see that. And that's the truth. Like we didn't even really have the news. You don't get a newspaper. You don't have access to the internet. And the TV is always on silent if it's on. Like most of the time, the TV is not even on.
Why is the TV on silent? What's that all about?
That was my question. I don't know. They said it would be too much noise. We would have 50 women whispering and they would say, keep it down. I would be like, damn, everybody's whispering. Everything is down.
So they told you when you talk? They told you, like, really?
Yeah, if we were all in the common area, because you can't talk in your bunk area. You're not allowed to talk in the bathroom. You're not allowed to talk in the shower. So the only time you can talk is if you're in the common areas, which you aren't in the common area all day. There's certain times, maybe a couple hours in the morning, maybe a couple hours in the evening. And if once you got everybody in that space, there's 45 people, I would say, in the dorm with you. If everybody sitting at tables, they're literally talking like this to one another. You got 4 people at a table talking. And everyone's talking like this. What do you think it's going to sound like when 45 people are whispering? There's going to be a low hum. And they would say, keep it down. I'd be like, what the fuck? Like, they were just mean.
They were on some other stuff there.
They were mean there, for real. They really were.
It's like Arizona. You remember when when DMX was in Arizona and they had him in had to wear pink underwear and all that weird stuff.
What?
Yeah, when he got arrested in Arizona, they had him. Yeah,
the men have to wear pink underwear. What's that about?
It was. They had him wearing some. I don't know if you've ever been to Arizona jail, not prison, but jail. Like they have him wearing some of the craziest stuff.
What? They had the men in pink underwear though, for real?
Absolutely.
Why? What does that do?
I don't know. It's just the sheriff at the time. I forgot his name. Was a crazy sheriff. Anyone know that name? The sheriff back in the day. He was a very very no nonsense. I got to look him up. But he ran that jail like it was Fort Knox. Fort Knox is one of those top level secured prisons, but yeah, I forgot the guy's name. No, wait, hold on. I think I know his name. Somebody, come on, someone knows the sheriff's name.
But here's the thing,
Right, there you go. Joe Paul. Yeah, that's it, Joe. That's his name. Southside. Southside. No, thank you, Southside. Yeah, Apello. Yeah, Joe Apello. Yeah. Thank you, Southside. Yes.
praying
Yeah.
praying for favors said probably because they were having inappropriate relations. But my thought is, if the men are having inappropriate relations, putting pink on their asses is not going to deter the inappropriate relations. Wouldn't that increase it possibly?
Yeah, he was just trying to punk everyone in there. Like he was just doing
That's
the worst.
terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, he was
Now I
doing
will
the
say this at Orange County, and you should ask your maybe he would.
Go ahead. Okay.
I'm just saying whoever you know. I don't know if they tell you this, but there was a juice that they would serve like once a day. Um, it was clear. Sometimes they would give it to you in a carton. I tasted it, like literally just took a taste of it one day, and it was it was just like a huge chemical taste. It was sweet, but I always thought it reminded me like you were tasting some sort of chemical, right? So I wouldn't drink it. Some people had said that they believed that the drink had something in it to keep us subdued or whatever, right? But another person told me later that that drink really impacts your hormones. So it was supposed to do something to your hormones to make it so that you lack the desire of having inappropriate relations. So that's why they served it every day. Do you think that's true?
Anything's possible. Anything's possible.
They said, I mean, because I saw the actual carton, and it says very specifically, no juice is, there's no juice in this drink. Um, they said salt Pete. Someone said soft Peter. Oh, but
What?
even for the women, everybody got it in the jail, the males and the females, and they served it like with lunch every day. And then sometimes in the late evening when the people were able to get extra, um, sometimes they served it for breakfast. But certain people, if they had like diabetes, they may get an extra treat or extra snack, and they would either give them milk or that juice and like an apple or peanut butter or something like that at night. So when I saw the carton, it says on there there's no juice included, but it says something, and they say yeah, it impacts your hormones. I was like, well, damn, not
That's crazy.
controlling folks. Yeah.
Did they take your DNA while you were there?
When I left
What?
on the way out, they won't let you out unless you give them DNA.
Oh heck no. So what was it, like a swab?
Yeah. But here's the thing, they forgot they had that already for me. So I don't know why. Like when I first uh went on probation, they asked for the DNA sample. So I don't know why they needed it again, but yeah. If they didn't have it on file, they needed it before you could leave.
Yeah, they just want to see the problem with that. They taking DNA. You gotta pray that they don't cross contaminate it, or
Yeah. Yeah.
it's just crazy.
Yep.
It's crazy. All right, listen. This has been a great show.
Yeah,
Guys, I
thank
do
you.
apologize for the technical difficulties in the very beginning. Um, there was a few things going on, but again, that's we will do better. I promise you that that don't happen often, rarely. With that, V, I appreciate you coming in the clutch.
Thank you.
You are the bomb.com, and thank everyone for being here for this long. Wait, hold on a second. Hold on. Before you leave, hit the like button. Hit the like button. Make sure you are following both of us. And V, you have another channel. Tell people about your other channel.
Yeah, so as you all know, my main channel is V Lenore, but I just started a new channel called Cuffs and Comforts, and we'll talk about what the experience has been like, on the inside, what other inmates probably have to deal with. I'll be doing some interviews and things of that nature. We'll watch some body cam footage and some interrogation videos and things of that nature. So, all things true crime, we'll talk over there with a real life experience behind it. All right.
Hey, that's what I like. Listen, make sure if you're new to the channel, make sure you are following the channel. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you're following. And I appreciate all the members that are there, the ones that are joining in. And a lot of you don't want to hear the what 47 is doing, Trump is doing, but I think it's important because he's done some real very disturbing. He signed some very disturbing executive orders. With the one that stood out for me is the 1964 Civil Rights Act. He wants, like that is concerning for me because that was enacted to combat Jim Crow laws. And people say no, it's not about. No, it's definitely about if you do your history, learn your history. It was in response to the Jim Crow laws. And for him to want to roll that back. And take it back to the golden age. When was America really great for people of color? Like,
it never was,
right?
And it still is. I mean, it's the best it's ever been, and it's still very, very bad for us. And that's what I don't understand. The man is doing exactly what he promised you that he would do, and or whether or not he said it directly or indirectly, it was very clear what to expect. But people did not. They acted like it was just conspiracy theories. He's not a racist and this, that. How do you feel really quickly about Nelly and Snoop and Soldier Boy, Mr. Hip Hop Inquirer? How do you feel about them and their support of him? And simply because they're getting a check, they've made that the excuse for playing or performing at his inauguration events.
Well, I did talk about my position on that. First and foremost, Nelly's an entertainer. I never view Nelly as someone that stood on. I didn't never view Nelly as a woke artist. I viewed him as an entertainer, solely entertainer.
All of them. None of them were woke, and none of them would expect that.
Well, I'm gonna go through each one of them.
Okay.
Nelly, entertainer. I never, that's Mr. Tip Drill, so I never looked to him for any leadership. Plus, I'm not looking at any rapper for leadership, but he's an entertainer. It was an opportunity. He seized on it. I get it. Soldier Boy, same thing. Rick Ross, same thing, same category, entertainers. Snoop Dogg, I took issue with Snoop Dogg because he called out people of color for supporting him in 2016. He called blacks, black Republicans that were supporting during that time coons, and he said that anyone that performed at his inaugural was the jigaboo Negro. Be nice. So in his case, and the fact that Elon Musk took that same clip of him talking and tweeted it out, it was an embarrassment. I had secondhand embarrassment for him. They literally played him, and he doesn't need the money, but I think that he lost a lot of respect for a lot of members of hip hop. A lot of respect, and does he care? I don't know.
Do you believe? The theory is these are theories. These are people making assumptions and trying to figure it out. The belief is that a lot of these guys could be implicated in the Diddy cases, and that many of them are coming out in support of Trump in hopes that they will get a pardon from him. What do you think about that?
I would say each one of them might have more than just money as a motivator, but we don't know what that is. I don't know about the whole Diddy that case, and that's another Diddy situation with his new lawsuit and everything. That's a totally different conversation. I don't see Snoop or maybe not.
Well, it's not really a different conversation because Diddy has a relationship with Trump. They believe Trump is on those tapes. They believe that Diddy has information on Trump and therefore Trump may pardon him. So the thought is that because of these other artists and their
We lost you, V. We lost her. See? We lost V. Her sound is gone. V, where you sound at, V? We at? But in any case, we're gonna have another live to talk about that, V. We're gonna talk about because we just lost you. We lost you. I had nothing to do with it. We lost you, V. Where you at, V? In any event, I think each artist had their own motive for performing, mostly financial, business. Hey, is what it is. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to end this show. We got to take it out. We got to end the show.
Hello, testing.
I know you're back
Okay.
now.
Yeah, someone called me, but I didn't take it. But let me just say, that's just a theory that's why, because of the connection with Donald Trump. That's all I'm saying.
All right. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for
See you
joining.
guys.
Appreciate you. I really do. Thank you. We out. Peace.
Bye.
Bye.